I used to love working night shifts at McDonald's, quiet, easy, and free food. But one night changed everything. I haven't worked a closing shift since. It was a Thursday. I was on the 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. shift. Just me and one other manager, Nicole. Around midnight, I went to take the trash out. The dumpster was behind the building, near the alley where the delivery trucks pull in. As I was rolling the trash bin out, I saw someone crouched by the dumpster. At first, I thought it was a homeless guy. But when I said, "Hey man, we're closed," he didn't move. Just stared. Even though it was dark, I could see the whites of his eyes. He grinned. Not a normal grin, his lips pulled back way too far. I backed away and ran inside, locking the back door. Nicole saw me pale and panting. I told her, and she looked out the drive-thru window. No one was there. But then we heard the door to the freezer slowly creak open. We hadn't even touched it all night. Nicole and I stood frozen. The freezer was locked from the outside unless you had the key. We walked over, and sure enough, it was wide open. Inside, just our usual inventory. But on one of the cardboard boxes, written in ketchup or blood, I still don't know, were the words, "See you next close." We called the cops, but they found nothing. I quit 2 days later. Working alone in the walk-in freezer isn't scary until the door locks itself from the outside. I was stocking the freezer during a quiet Sunday night shift at the drive-thru. McDonald's near the highway. It was around 10 p.m. and the place was empty. The freezer was always cold, but that night felt different. The kind of cold that settles in your bones. I kept hearing faint knocking sounds like ice shifting, but sharper, rhythmic. Then the door slammed shut. I laughed at first, thinking maybe Joey was messing with me. I pushed the release handle. Nothing. The door was stuck. I banged on it and called out. No answer. My phone had no signal in there. I started to panic, then the lights flickered and went out. That freezer has no windows, pure blackness. I heard something shuffle in the corner. I whispered, "Who's there?" Stupid, I know. And that's when I felt breath on my neck. When the lights came back on, nothing was there. But on the frost-covered wall behind me, someone had scraped a word into the ice. Colder? When Joey finally opened the door 5 minutes later, I nearly tackled him. He swore no one had been near the freezer. I still dream about that word sometimes, especially when I pass by an empty freezer aisle. He never ordered food, never spoke, just sat in the back booth every single night at 3:13 a.m. until the night I asked him to leave. I worked the overnight shift at a 24-hour McDonald's just off the highway. Most of our customers were truckers, drunk college kids, or early morning commuters. But starting about a month into my job, something strange began happening. Every night, exactly at 3:13 a.m., a tall man in a black coat and gray baseball cap would walk in. He never looked at the menu, never said a word, just walked up to the counter, tapped once, and waited. I'd hand him a small cup of water, and he'd go sit at the same booth, the very back corner, under the flickering exit sign. He didn't drink it. He just sat there, motionless, staring out the window. At first, we joked about it, called him Mr. Hydration. My coworker Jess said she tried talking to him once, but he didn't even blink. But after 2 weeks, the vibe changed. One night, I noticed something strange. When I looked at the security footage from the previous shift, I saw the door open at 3:13, but no one walked in. Still, at 3:14, there he was, sitting at the booth like always. I thought maybe the footage glitched, until it kept happening. 4 nights in a row, door opens, no one enters, but the booth is suddenly occupied, so I decided to confront him. At 3:10 a.m. the next night, he arrived, same as always. Black coat, baseball cap. No expression. I gave him his water. He didn't even look at me. "Hey," I said, "you can't just sit here every night." We're not a shelter. Nothing. I stepped closer. He turned his head slowly, finally looked at me. His eyes were completely black. No whites, no iris, just dark. And then he spoke for the first time, quiet, barely a whisper. But I'll never forget what he said. I was here before you. Then he stood up, walked toward the kitchen. I panicked, called for Jess, but she wasn't responding. I followed him, heart pounding, but the kitchen was empty. No sign of him. The security cam? It showed me walking into the kitchen, alone. No man, no water cup, no voice. I quit 2 days later. But sometimes when I drive past that place on the highway at night, I still look in. And in that back booth under the flickering exit sign, I swear, I still see someone sitting there, waiting for a 313.